when you think about the faces of the game right now around the world, the Mbappes and still the Messis and the Ronaldos and the Lamine Yamals, you know, you want those guys to rise to the occasion. And up until yesterday, in Holland, with the exception of Ronaldo, they all had, and now Ronaldo's in it too. To have the big stars, the names that are familiar to casual sports fans in the United States performing, what does that mean to this tournament, Chuck?
I don't. I never liked the fact that people follow sports for stars. There's something about it that's always bothered me. But the fact is, people follow sports for stars. We have these conversations. For example, let's say a couple years ago, I remember the Dodgers and Yankees in the World Series, and people, oh, this is good for baseball. Well, you know what? If you like baseball, you should try to watch whoever is good enough to make it to that rounds. But that's not what people do, really. And this thing has been, it's as if, I mean, it's as if it was casted this way or something, or it just Mbappe alone, which, I would go to the end of the earth to watch him play, but not only the goals, but some of them are just majestic, and then Messi. And it's been so ideal in that regard that it's kind of hard to believe.
It's funny. It makes me think, Jeremy, you'll appreciate this. When I started out as a reporter, I covered the Yankees for the New York Daily News, and I was a young, very young beat reporter. And I remember asking, the great baseball writer Bill Madden, who worked, for the Daily News forever, what's your approach to covering the Yankees in New York? How do you go about doing it? And he said, if you don't know what to do, write the stars every day. Just write Derek Jeter, just write Rivera, just write, Alex Rodriguez, whoever's on the team that's a star. That's what will go on the back page. That's what the casual fan, the Yankee fan, the diehard is going to read you anyway. Everybody else just wants the stars. And so I agree with Chuck conceptually. Like, I love soccer. I don't need to see Messi or Ronaldo doing what they do, but for a World Cup to have Messi, Mbappe, Holland, these are the people that everybody sees. My wife doesn't know anything about soccer. She knows Mbappe, you know what I mean? She knows Messi. And so when Messi has a hat trick, that's something that she can connect to. And I think that when you talk about trying to make a connection with the casual fan, it's going to be through big names like that.
Well, one name I didn't mention, I was remiss, was Harry Kane, which gives us an opportunity to talk about yesterday's results for England. How you guys know the global game very well. You guys lived in Europe covering soccer, among other sports. The degree of concern right now, based on a draw with Ghana after the dominating performance against Croatia in the first group stage game, are we at like DEFCON 1 now in England, or are they going to have a little more perspective on this?
I thought that with that Croatia match, because Croatia has a surprising history of knocking England out, counting the semifinal in 2018 in Russia and counting this Euro qualifier in 2007 that knocked England completely out of.
And the Euros themselves in England in 96, right?
That's right. Yeah. Yes. And so when they played the way they did in that 4-2 win over Croatia, I thought I put them up with France in the most likely. I just thought maybe this is the time, and I really would like to see this, before I leave the earth, and so yesterday was, I realized that Ghana is, a lot of people probably don't realize what a terrific history it has and what a hard opponent it is. But I just think, yes, now we've moved back into that area of same old in a way.
Yeah.
And it's funny, it's just one match, but we have.
Chuck would know better than I. He lived in London. He certainly knows the hysteria. But I guess I would say, and we all know that it doesn't take much for English fans to get to a more cynical or despondent place. But the thing that I keep thinking about with any match, whether it was that, the match yesterday or Spain having the, difficult first performance, is remember just 4 years ago, Saudi Arabia beat Argentina in the beginning of the World Cup in Qatar, and then Argentina went on to win the whole thing. So like, you know, the downside, if there is a downside, if that's the word, to this group stage being what it is that it is largely meaningless, or it can be largely meaningless when it comes to what happens in the business end of the tournament. We saw that with Argentina, and I have no particular reason to think that we might not see that with England.
And Argentina, then the first team ever to win the cup, winning twice on penalties while they went through, and that penalties when it comes to England, you know, is
Yeah.
another long story. So